Hey guys, today I'm really going to focus on forearms and fingers, feet and calves a little bit. This is great if you're a drummer. I'm a drummer and a ceramicist outside of doing my fitness thing, and I have a lot of drummer buddies that I care about. I'm going to tag all you guys in this because this is going to be great for how your fingers and your wrists respond, how they feel, preventing tendonitis, all those things that can really plague us. Same with actually ceramics. You're really compressing a lot of clay using your hands in a C motion or in a closed form a lot, but we're not opening them much. And a lot of tendonitis just comes because extensors aren't as strong as the muscles pulling the fingers in. Okay, if you have some TheraBands, these are infinitely helpful. I think you can still order them off Amazon despite the situation we're in for like 20 bucks. And these are really great for all sorts of things. Workouts, especially if you're a little bit older or you've been inactive for a long time, this is a great place to start instead of using all the resistance that we've conjured up here during this quarantine. But they're also excellent just for physio and keeping everything working really nice in your hands and your feet. So I think everybody should have something like this in their house. All right, so we are going to start with our hands today. And so I want you to open those fingers again. We're trying to get as much control of the fingers and the hands as possible. So we're going to widen the fingers as much as we can, like so. And we're going to start with the index finger. And if you can get your elbows right over your wrists, that's great. If you need to bend them a little bit, that's fine. But if you have this motion, use it. And we're going to pull the finger up off the ground as hard as we can. And then we're going to take a deep breath and pull it up and lengthen the finger a little bit. Okay, so really try to pull the tip of that finger up and push down with the other fingers. And you should be able to control it a little bit more as we get into it, pulling up a little bit higher. Take a deep breath. Finger come back down to the ground. Now the middle finger, pull it up nice and high, right off the ground. All the other fingers are trying to grip the floor. Okay, that middle finger is coming up as high as we can, and we're making the finger as long as we can while we do this. Grip the floor again. Ring finger, bring it up nice and high. A little bit higher. Grip the floor. Pinky finger comes up off the ground. Open it up. Grip the floor. Now the thumb and the pinky come up together as high as you can, and we're pushing down with the other three fingers. Open it up. Grip the floor. Now the ring finger and index finger up off the ground as high as possible. Grip with the alternating fingers. Straighten the elbows if you can. Grip down, and now we're going to go thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky, other way around. Pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb, and now we're going to pull them all up off the ground. And try to straighten your elbows on top of it and pull them up again. Get them up a little bit higher if you can and widen them in this position. Deep breath. Exhale, relax, shake them out. You should feel that through your extensors right up into your forearms, into your elbow a little bit. All right, that's great. Sit comfortably, interlock the fingers, gently open the wrists. Almost everybody knows this one. And there's a reason. It's very handy, it's very simple, it's a great tool. From there, we're going to push our hands together. Take a deep breath. And I want you to keep your elbows high, okay? And I'm trying to widen my fingers as much as I can here. And with those wide fingers, my elbows up, I'm pushing the other hand as far back as I can. So now I'm getting to the other side of that forearm. Keeping the elbow high, the elbow doesn't come down, keep it high, take a deep breath. Back to center. Into the other side, keep the elbow high, open that up. Back to center, and now we're going to rotate the hand, keeping the fingers wide, down as far as we can. Rotate it back up and point them in towards the chest, rotating at the elbow and the wrist as much as you can. Rotate out one more time as much as you can. Elbows high, rotate in again. Up to the top, relax, shake him out. Very nice. All right. So if you have one of these handy little TheraBands, what you're going to do is you're going to get the fattest, open it as fat as you can rather, and get your fingers in there in this form. And what we're going to do here is just open up the TheraBand as wide as we can and come back in. This is a fairly heavy test TheraBand. I think this one's a little bit lighter. Maybe we'll start on the lighter one for me. Okay, so we're going to come in there, open that up as wide as you can, let it come back in. Open it up, close. We're going to do 10 of those. 8, 7, widen the fingers as well. 6, as wide as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, open and hold as wide as you can. Widen the fingers a little bit more, hold, let them come back in, shake it out. Other side, same thing. Make that little, the duckbill form if you're making a shadow puppet. I'm going to open up. 10, wider fingers. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, nice and wide, open it up, and relax. Very nice. We'll grab these when we get to our calves and feet, but for now we're going to get back down into this position. And we're going to take our hands and we're going to rotate those fingers right back towards our knees, about shoulder width. We're going to take a deep breath here, roll the shoulders back and down, and I'm pulling my hips back away and letting my shoulders come to the other side of my wrist joint. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm really trying to open up my wrist as much as I can right into the bicep tendons. Okay, from the side, so you can see what's going on. I'm going to take a deep breath. Exhale, get a nice stretch happening. Hold that. Shouldn't be a comfortable stretch. I mean, you should definitely feel your forearms here. Relax it. Take a deep breath. And you should get a little bit more distance this time. A little bit more. Try to get a little bit more out of that. Hold. Relax one more time. Take a deep breath here. As much distance as you can. Keep the shoulders back and down. Open that up. Oh, oof, good gracious. And you know, for me, my left side's much tighter. You'll probably have one side that's tighter than the other. If not, lucky you. All right, back up to the top. Relax, shake that out. I promise you, I know when you let this out, this feels terrible. It's a release, but it's a bit painful. Get through it. This will feel great tomorrow, and even the rest of the night. Everything's going to be so lubricated and opened. It's a beautiful feeling. So we're going to go and do the opposite direction of that. And this one feels heinous. This one is definitely an uncomfortable discomfort you're going to be in. And we're coming down like so. Alright, if you need to bend your elbows to do that because of a lack of range of motion, then just do your best, but try not to shrug too much like this, okay? Try to let the elbows bend, but keep the traps out of it. If you can, straighten your elbows, straighten them out, and then we're going to actually rotate that so it's pointed forward. So rotate the shoulders down and back, the elbow joint is pointed forward, and we're hinging at the wrist. We're going to take a deep breath and the same motion. We're just, pulling away. You won't have as much range of motion probably here as on the other side. This is typically a lot stiffer, obviously, you can see. Then we're going to come back up. Take a deep breath. Exhale, come back into that stretch. Really get the front of the forearms to open up as much as you can. Back up to the front one more time. Take a deep breath. Get as much as you can. Oh. Again, it's not a pleasant feeling. It's uncomfortable for sure, but you'll thank me later, trust me. Alright, relax that up. Shake it out. I know. Trust me, I know. Alright, so now we got all these extensors open and closed and ready to do a bit of work. This is actually going to be a little bit of work. This is not just a stretch. We're going to let our wrists come back down in that position from the side. Should be pretty warmed up. We're not pushing as hard as we did for a stretch here, and we're going to let our elbows bend for a reason. Okay, so I'm bending them out to the side, not down here. They're out to the side. And what I'm trying to do is open my hand so it's flat against the ground, and then close my fingers into a tight fist. So if you're only able to come this far, you need to bend your elbow until you can actually make a proper fist while you're doing this, okay? We're going to Keep our elbows fairly bent so we're pretty comfortable. Open our hands against the ground. Make a fist. Take a deep breath, widen your back. Open the hands, straighten the elbows just a little bit. Make another fist. Should be a little bit tougher. We're hinging at the wrist mostly. Open the hands again, take another deep breath. Straighten the elbows a bit more. Make a fist. Open up. Try to straighten the elbows all together if you can. And make a fist. Woo! That's a bit tight today. I should probably do more of this myself. I can't make a tight fist there, so I'm going to bend my elbows until I can. I need a little bend. If you can go straight, that's great. Take a deep breath. Open the fingers again and relax and release from there. Excellent. All right, welcome back. The camera stopped again, so we're going to start again. We're going to get into our feet now. All right, and these can be our biggest adversary for movement and strength and power, or are a huge hindrance if they're not working properly. And a lot of people I work with that have chronic knee or hip issues, all the way down to lower back issues actually, most of the time once I get them to take their shoes off and walk for me, their ankle mobility is not that great, their feet aren't gripping the ground very well, their toes aren't gripping the ground, you know, they're losing so much stability and strength. And so this is a great time for us to start to get into this, because most of us are more subdued in our life right now and we have all this time. This is a great time to do the detail work that when we get back to being able to go to the gym or play drums or whatever it is that we do, we're going to be able to do that a lot better, because our connection to the ground, our foundation from the ground up is so much stronger. Okay, even our mental connection and control of our foot is so much better. So I'm going to use these TheraBands. This is the best option we have for what I want to do. But not everybody has TheraBands. They're on Amazon for like 20 bucks, 21 bucks, whatever, and I think they're still shipping out despite what's happening in the world right now. If you have a towel, the towel will work fine. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to wrap that towel up so it's about the same width as a TheraBand, which I would say is about a hand span, maybe less. Okay, so we'll do it with the towel first. I'm going to make sure my toes are in there as well. And what I'm doing is, as I'm pushing through the ball of my foot, I'm also using my toes to grip through the towel and squeeze the towel. And then let it come back and open the toes and widen them as much as I can. Now I'm going to use the TheraBand because you can see through that TheraBand and you can really see what my toes are actually doing. But if you only have the towel, use the towel. It's still great. But if you have a TheraBand, it's even better. And I'll show you why. Because front of angle to the camera, you're going to see me widen my toes, and now I'm reaching through my toes and flexing down. Opening up, coming up. I can move this up just a little bit to make sure they're in there. Okay, reaching through, widening the toes, gripping like I'm gripping a branch. Open the toes wide, slow. Everything's slow and controlled. I'm really trying to feel any weak points, any places that your ankle gets shaky. Just spend time in those little regions. Strengthen it. Get your brain to control those muscles more and get in touch with them. Those weak areas are where you're doing damage to the rest of your system. You know, you're always looking upstream from the feet. So we're going to do this. I would do 15 to 20. I'm trying to get as much range as I can. I'm trying to feel the flexion come all the way back behind the knee to stabilize the knee, make as much stability in the knee as possible. Let it stretch back as far as you can. Again, we're looking for range of motion and strength throughout the entire range of motion. So I'll let you do those on your own, 15, 20 reps. It's going to be boring if you're watching me do them. But those are super effective to opening up the foot, opening up the calf, and being able to feel both sides of that gastric open up and move independently a little bit. I will go back and forth 15 to 20 on each foot. You know, as many as you want. Basically, you know, the more of this you can do, the better you will do. If you go through this routine with me, when you stand up and walk around, you're going to feel so much different the way you're making connection to the ground. Okay, so next we're going this way. Next, you can find you could use the edge of a bench if it's heavy enough. A chair's probably not heavy enough with nobody sitting on it, but if you got a partner or a dog, get it to sit on the chair, you'd be good. I'm going to use this stack of whatever is collecting in the basement here. And we're just going to wrap that around. And we're going to tie a knot in that so it's pretty tight. And these are pretty versatile, so you can tie these knots and untie them. They're very versatile because of that. And some people don't like the feel of that knot on the back of their foot or their forefoot. I don't really care. All right, and so we're going to have the same issue here. Is I'm trying to get this to open up as wide as I possibly can. It's doubled in half. It's not great. So that it opens up right on top of my toes as well. So, whew, that was a bit of a struggle, wasn't it? And the same thing. I'm opening the toes and pulling them back towards my knee as much as I can. I'm splaying the foot out and letting it come forward. So now I'm working my anterior tibialis, which is very important for knee stability as well, okay? And is responsible for pulling the foot up off the ground, okay? This is great for drummers, okay? Pull that all the way back, flex as hard as you can. Again, take your time, widen the toes, pull it back, let it come forward, widen the toes, pull it back, let it come forward. Again, I'm looking 15 to 20 at least, and you can slowly move up in the weight. Typically, if you order these, they come in a set of 3, light, medium, heavy. If you can get past the heavy, then you can start doubling them up and using a few of them together. All right, so we'll move on from that as well. The other one I think is fantastic, that is just a regular physio exercise, but everybody should do this as much as they can. You know, you can do this. I do this sometimes when I'm on the toilet and my bath mat's in front of my toilet. I can do this with the bath mat. Wherever you can, get this in. So we want to be from a sitting position. And you can use a dining room table, whatever it is. We're trying to stay up nice and even. And what I'm trying to do here is open my feet and lengthen my toes as much as I can and grip the towel and pull it in. Open it up, grip the towel, pull it in. Okay? And we're going to basically try to get a decent sized towel and scrunch it all the way in. Be thoughtful about it. Keep the heel against the ground. The heel's pushing into the ground while I do this. And we'll use that towel, open it up, and we'll pull this in maybe 4 or 5 times. Really scrunching that in, really trying to feel each individual toe open and close and pull that towel in, and thinking about basically our feet to work as well as our hands do. Okay, and again, I'll let you guys go through that as many times as you want, but these exercises are just so fantastic when you put them together. Your feet really start to feel a lot different. Another one that I would get into using the same TheraBand that you have tied onto the side of something is I would get this out as far as I can, and this is a great one for lateral stability. And people are thinking it's just ankle stability, but really if you think about how that's bleeding up through the knee, your ACL and MCL are getting involved, and this is really good for knee stability as well. So again, I'm trying to open my toes, let it come in as far as I can, and then pull it, rotate it out from the ankle as much as I can, keeping the toes as open as I can. Let it roll in, squeeze it all the way out. Let it roll in, squeeze it all the way out. Let it roll in, squeeze it all the way out. Again, I used to do these even before I was injured when I was playing drums. If I was on tour and in the hotel room, I could tie this to the side of the hotel. Just make sure that my hands and feet were my adversaries as much as I could. I was on the road, because they really take a lot of abuse. We really don't use them out well. We put them in ill-fitting shoes and we stomp around on them, and we don't give them much time to get in touch with them and make them feel good. Okay? And then lastly, what I would do is I would do the opposite of that motion again. And again, you can get that pretty wide, get it on the foot. So now I'm letting it rotate out, and basically I'm just bringing my foot in, trying to rotate at the ankle, keeping that as strong as I can. And I'm actually reaching with my toes as well. I'm still gripping here, and I can feel on my forefoot right here, I can feel my extensors working for that grip. And again, I'm thinking about the mobility of my foot to be closer to what my hand is, even though the joints are slightly different. It's just getting as much function out of that as I possibly can. And again, we're doing sets 15 to 20, whatever you can. Lastly, we're going to come up and bring our feet up into a butterfly, basically. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to push those knees down and bring our chest forward. Again, I'm trying to think about bringing my belly button to my toes, not my chest down like this. I don't care if you can round your back. Most people can. Most people can do it too much. What I'm more worried about is actually bringing the spine forward from the hip. I'm going to take a deep breath. Let the chest come forward a little bit more. Push those knees down a little bit more. And now in this position, I'm going to take all my toes and push them together. And I'm going to grip so I can feel the bottom of my foot here with my thumb. I can feel that engaged. So I'm going to grip with my toes, take another deep breath, push together quite hard. Bring the chest forward. Oh. Squeeze them together, take another deep breath. Let the body come back up. Okay, from there, we have this knuckle joint right here. Okay, so we have our first knuckle, and then there's this second knuckle before our ankle. And a lot of people that don't use their big toe well don't have a lot of mobility in that joint. So I'm literally going to find that bump right there, which is the secondary joint. And I'm going to grab the forefoot and the top of the foot, and I'm just going to rotate back and forth. And I'm going to feel that joint moving like this, and even giving it a bit of traction, just to let it open up as much as I can. And I don't know if the mic picked that up, it just popped a little bit. Don't be afraid of those pops. They feel good. This is a safe place to get that adjustment, and it's only going to be good for you. All right? So we're going to come over to the other side, do the same thing. That joint is right there in the middle of the foot, index fingers on each side of it, and we're just going to rotate back and forth. I'm also doing rotations with it, like moving that bone around in 360. Excellent. And then lastly, another very neglected area is the fascia that comes up this the inside of the shin, right over top of the gastrus. And so I'm taking both thumbs here, and I'm finding my shin bone, and I'm getting right inside that shin bone, and basically, I'll get up so you can see the camera this way. I'm trying to roll this down this way. So I'm rolling that off the shin bone, and I'm trying to get as much play in that as I can. Now for me, I find the best position to do that is here. Most people don't have that much hip mobility. This position is fine. Okay? So again, I'm taking those two thumbs, rolling down, and it's not a relaxing kind of massage. I mean, there's a bit of discomfort maybe here. I'm really trying to forcibly pull that down. So the first time I'm just loosening it up and coming down. The second time I'm going to pull the toes back as hard as I can, and as I push down, I'm going to reach with my foot. I'm going to move up about an inch, push down, reach with the foot, reach up about an inch, reach with the foot. It gets more uncomfortable as you come into the knee area, push down, reach with the foot. Go to the other side. Same thing. I'm going to roll down the first time, just letting my foot be relaxed, just opening it up, getting some mobility in that fascia, getting some mobility in the tendons and the ligaments and the muscles. And I'm going to come down here and pull the toe back and reach through it as I roll down, reach through it as I roll down, and just basically moving up about an inch at a time up to the top of the leg, right in there. And lastly, what I'm going to end with are some gentle rotations of the kneecap. And again, I do mean gentle. I'm not trying to jog this out of place or anything. Your meniscus is under there. We want to not do any damage to those things. However, it does feel really good if you get your thumbs just on the top and the back of your kneecap and just push forward. And if you feel any adhesions, little grindy things that don't hurt, if there's acute pain, stop doing it. But if there's no grinding, then just keep working through those adhesions. Get that bone to move over top of that cartilage that's starting to adhere to it until it's a smooth motion. If you can break those up now, they have less of a chance of hardening into osteophytes or something like that. Then we're going to bring the bottom of the kneecap and pull it up towards our hips a couple of times. Okay, so I'm getting on both sides of it and just pulling up gently. Just getting some mobility in that kneecap. Boy, it sure works hard for us as well, and we don't spend much time with it. So we'll move over to the other leg. Same thing, maybe is easier to see from this side, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to push down on it, and on this knee actually I definitely can feel some adhesions. It's not a great thing to feel those, but try to work through them as much as you can. Be gentle with it again, just gently work through those. Try to break them up a little bit. We'll come on the bottom. We'll pull it back, Same thing, just being gentle, just trying to rotate that the kneecap on the meniscus as much as we can. Alright guys, I hope you appreciate that. It's just a brief one today, opening up the hands, opening up the feet. I love doing these rotations when I'm in a green room before I play a performance. If I'm playing drums, I always play better when I get the synaptic response from my feet and hands really online here before I go and blow my brains out on a stage. So do your best with this stuff. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer you. You can go in the comments wherever you want. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead. I'll be putting out lots of workout videos, but also this kind of stuff. Just quick videos that are mobility drills that I do as a drummer or ceramicist, or just for fitness as well. Doing this before you do any pull-ups. Again, your grip and everything is so online. Your whole workout will change if you spend just like 5-10 minutes doing a few of these drills before you get out there and grip a bunch of stuff and toss it around. Okay? Have a great night. I hope you all are doing okay in this quarantine. And I'll talk to you soon. That wasn't a COVID cough, I promise.